committee poll at number 10 at 5-4, but Minnesota's had success here on the Huskers' home floor, having won 2 of the last 3. That swing in and point early to the Gophers.
Minnesota's team relies on their pin hitters. Whether it's Taylor Landfair or McKenna Wooker, look for Melanie Schaffmaster to get a lot of sets out to the pins tonight.
Lydia Grote with the serve. Nebraska in system on their first touch, and Merritt Beeson with the kill.
This place feels a little more pumped up than what we've seen, Larry. Crowd getting loud, both teams fired up. Massive conference battle right now. Two top 15 teams going at it.
Huskers coming in off of that win 2 nights ago against ranked Ohio State, having swept the Buckeyes on the home floor. Minnesota was not far away in Iowa City. In a tussle with Iowa. They run the middle and quickly away with the kill.
One key for Minnesota tonight is going to be middle involvement. Establishing them early on, very smart of Melanie Schaffmaster to get her middles going right away.
Ulea averaging a kill per set and a block and a half per set for the Gophers. There's a nasty jump serve from Wooker and the overpass put down by Landfair.
McKenna Wooker just started doing this top spin serve in their game Thursday against Iowa, but she's been practicing nonstop, coming in early with head coach Keegan Cook in the mornings to get it rocking.
It's a new look serve from McKenna Wooker. And there it is again, where it has some nasty movement. Down the line goes Beeson. Great dig by Kylie Murr, the transfer out of Ohio State. Pushed out to Batenhorst, who goes off the top of the block. And Batenhorst with the kill.
Batenhorst stepping up big for now her 3rd match as Lindsey Krause has been out with an injury. Coach Cook said she was good to go, but he likes what he's seeing from Allie Batenhorst right now.
So Lexi Rodriguez now will serve for Nebraska. Rodriguez, a junior out of Sterling, Illinois. That rides in on Wooker a bit, puts him out of system. Landfair trying to bail him out. The tip. And successful kill for Landfair. Good decision there by Taylor.
Landfair has done such a better job, especially this season, really mixing up her shots. Last year, we started to see her throw in more off speeds, seeing it a lot to start out this season.
Push back out. Swing by Julia Hansen out of the back row. They'll go to Julia Hansen again, and that time done by Rodriguez. Overpass. Another opportunity. Schaffmaster. Quick push out and the kill. And early on here, Gophers having success at the pins.
Minnesota in system allows that quick tempo offense to run. They've really sped it up in recent years. They like that matchup with quick tempo and Taylor Landfair on the outside.
Beeson one-on-one. He just pulls it right inside Landfair's block.
Bergen Riley is so amazing at creating one-on-one situations for all of her hitters, especially the pins. That situation, she's moving forward, drawing that blocker in, sends it back to Beeson.
Schaffmaster behind her. And it goes off to Nebraska blocking out the kill for the Gophers.
Minnesota has really developed the back row attack as a major threat for this offense. When Melanie Schaffmaster's in the front row especially, they have options in the back row that they can go to, and Schaffmaster will find them, especially in transition.
Schaffmaster now serving. Pushed it out to Batenhorst again. Batenhorst off the block. That tools the hands of Grote.
Batenhorst is a player that will mix up her shots often. She oftentimes uses those blockers' hands to try to tool it off.
Both teams hitting at a very high clip right now. Nebraska at 500, Minnesota 667. And remember, this is a Nebraska team defensively that's holding teams to an average 100 hitting percentage. Back row swing, Wooker got it.
Coming into this game, I expected it to be a big defensive battle, Larry. We have 2 of the best liberos in the entire country and the best defense in Nebraska. Kind of thought we'd see a lot more touches, whether it's from a blocking standpoint or defensively. Both setters doing a great job creating one-on-ones for their side.
Good pass, right on spot. That sails, and a rare hitting error from the freshman, Andy Jackson, who's hitting .523 on the year.
Andy Jackson got a little bit under that ball, setting the trajectory upward. Normally she gets on top of it to hit it straight down.
Off the block, great up by Murr. And Wooker with an aggressive swing, but the block is there for Nebraska.
Nebraska's block stepping up big right away. This is a team that is top 10 in the country right now in blocks per set. They shut down opposing offenses up front.
Into serve for Nebraska, Kennedy Orr. Keegan Cook said earlier this week, he said, boy, when we are good, we are good. But when it starts to go off the rails, it can. And you've kind of seen that in some inconsistent play. I'd say right now, it's on the rails. Wooker again rolls it over right at Murray. Back to Harper Murray they go. That's set a little high. Good job defensively. Harper pulled back inside off the block, and Murray with the kill.
Rallies starting to extend on both sides defensively, picking up amazing balls. Nebraska working well in transition to get their outside going.
Well, I think you said it earlier, as much juice as I've felt in this gym in a few years.
Especially on a Sunday night after we had Friday volleyball, a Saturday football game. Crowd really bringing the energy on a Sunday night.
Up by Choboy. And a little joust at the net, won by the Huskers.
One blocker beating two up front. Nebraska putting up a wall up there, looking good to start.
Tip, diving in his oar to save it. Overpass, Schaffmaster. Back row attack, she can't go from block in the front row, the back row. Point Nebraska, and the Huskers on a 4-0 run. It's now 8-8.
Nebraska starting to gain a lot of momentum early in this first set. This is when you establish the tone of the game. You want to take that first set right away to show that you're dominant in this game and not try to play from behind for the rest of it.
Short serve by Orr. Run the middle. One-handed up. Not over.
Smart decision by Becca Alec to try to take that ball over. Execution just not quite there.
Well, here is Kylie Murr back to serve out of Yorktown, Indiana. The current reigning Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Just a bit long on the serve.
Larry, one of the reasons I was most excited for this game was because of watching the defense. We got Kylie Murr on one side, the reigning Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, Lexi Rodriguez on the other, and she was the 2021 Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Just so much excitement on both sides, and two of the most fun liberos to watch.
Well, and add to that, you have the defending Big Ten Player of the Year in Taylor Lanford on the floor as well.
That doesn't hurt.
Big swing, but what a block on the outside. Lydia Grote got the hands over. She's a transfer from Cal and has really started to come into her own here on the Gophers campus.
Lydia Grote has been a massive addition to this Minnesota team, and Coach Keegan Cook says she's just so easy to coach. She's all business all the time. She's so consistent in the way she approaches everything, whether it's coming into the gym or her play on the court.
Back to even at 10. Alec with the kill.
Bergen Riley making it a point to get her middles going on her side. Becca Alec has been tested, especially offensively this season, willing to be up and available at all times. Still working on that offensive piece, because defensively, she's got it down.
Great up. Beeson rolls it over. Run the middle. And down to the Gophers side. Point Nebraska. Boy, great defense led to offense.
There's that defense showing up. Lexi Rodriguez, explosive play to her left side, allowing that play to unfold in transition. Becca Alec able to put it down with 2 blockers in front of her.
Miscommunication there as Murr tried to take the second ball. Schaffmaster went back, and then right in front of Murr goes Beeson.
Beeson unloading on that ball. Bergen Riley pushes it all the way out. She can take a big rip down the line.
Timeout taken by the Gophers early on here in set number 1. Good to have you with us here from the Bob Devaney Sports Center in Lincoln, Nebraska for a battle of top 12 teams. It's a Minnesota team that comes in at 5-4, but boy, when you look at the schedule they have played, ranked Baylor, Texas, Florida, Oregon, Stanford, Creighton. I mean, it's been a gauntlet.
Testing this team in the non-conference was something head coach Keegan Cook said they have to do. He wanted to learn in non-conference what it takes to win a national championship. They've played 6 of the top teams, a lot of those in the top 10. He says, we can't show up in December and be surprised. We have to be ready to go right away, and that starts with non-conference.
What a swing by Alec.
Coming right out of the timeout, Nebraska nailing that pass, getting Alec going, something that Bergen Riley has started to do from the beginning. Lexi Rodriguez fending that one off, and Alec, thunderous one.
Murr takes the second touch out to Landfair. Rodriguez steps in to take it right into the block, and that block, Awalea with the block.
Beautifully read by Taylor Landfair and Phoebe Awalea on the right side. No one else was going to get this ball. Lexi Rodriguez facing the right, puts it up to Beeson. Good close by Awalea.
1 kill, 1 block early on here for Awalea, the transfer. Swipe straight down, good one-handed up by Hansen. Bumped out to Batenhorst again. She goes off the top of the block. Hansen pulled inside, not much she could do right at Schaffmaster. Puts the Gophers out of system, but Landfair bails them out.
Landfair with 3 big blockers in front of her, finds a way around it. She goes back to that bread and butter shot right to the far corner. So difficult as a defender to pick up because it's split.
Good timeout by Keegan Cook. Since that timeout, 3-1 in favor of the Gophers, now knotted at 13.
Back serving for your Husker number 13, Merritt Beeson.
Merritt Beeson, all SEC at Florida. Hitting .270 on the year. Back to serve for the Huskers. The ace for Beeson. That's her 10th of the season.
Nebraska has made it a point tonight to target Taylor Landfair and serve receive, make her work extra hard in all facets of the game. Of course, you're keying in on her offensively, but from the service line, keep the pressure on her.
We want to thank everyone for your patience as we work through our technical difficulties, still getting all of our cameras back up, working diligently behind the scenes to bring you all cameras in action from here at the Devaney Sports Center. And there's plenty of action when you are Jackson.
Jackson has done a fantastic job tonight being up and available so far. She is a target up there. Bergen Riley knows exactly where to put this ball. Even behind her head, she hears Jackson screaming for it.
.3-0 Nebraska run. Nebraska's best rotation, and the ace! 2 aces in this serve rotation here for Merritt Beeson, and another timeout taken by Keegan Cook. Run continues for Nebraska, now a 5-0 run, 18-13 Huskers. Beeson continues to target Landfair right down that line. Great second touch there by Schaffmaster, but not down. Free balled over. 4 hits on Nebraska. That ends the run.
Number 9, Lydia Grote. Back serving number 5, Melanie Schaffmaster.
That rotation with Beeson back at the service line has been Nebraska's most effective rotation, especially over the last 2 matches. They went on a 7-0 run against Ohio State in set 1 with that same rotation. That gets a friendly roll of the tape from Schaffmaster.
This is a point in the game where if you're Minnesota, you have to find a way to try to catch up and keep pushing. For Nebraska, they want to keep the pedal down, get out of this as quickly as possible. If they can side out like they did against Ohio State, it'll be a good night for Nebraska.
On the slide, Jackson goes line. Right at Murr, off and out, and point Nebraska.
Even with how good Kylie Murr is as a libero, all the hitters right now are hitting right at her, and she's picking up some, but they're bringing so much heat. It's difficult for even one of the best liberos in the conference to pick it up.
The best, if you look at the numbers from last year. Defending Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. In fact, the last 2 Defensive Players of the Year, as you said, on the floor now. Rodriguez and Murr.
Keegan Cook said he was surprised by Kylie Murr. He expected her to be a rah-rah kind of leader, but she's really a sophisticated, mature leader. Yeah, she's really fiery and will get her team hyped up, but he was really impressed with the maturity that she brought to this team.
Back row. Beeson sends it over. Murr with the bump set. Out to Grote, and Grote got it.
When Lydia Grote is left inside, she becomes lethal up front. Melanie Schaffmaster continues to keep her in just a little bit, test the blockers out. She's taking big rips cross court.
Grote had a very modest start to the season, but double digits in kills in each of her last 3. And there on the slide is Andy Jackson showing a little bit of fire.
Bergen Riley has continued to get Andy Jackson going on this slide. Blockers having a hard time identifying it and leaving some seams for her to hit through.
Both teams hitting at a decent clip. Nebraska 290, Gophers 269. Nebraska the first to 20 here in the first. Well, great move at the last second to get out of the way, and it opens it up for Wooker. I think the confusion on the other side opened it up for Wooker on the left.
Wooker took full advantage of that. Doesn't matter what's going on the other side. What you can control is your own side. If you see chaos, one-on-one situation, open net, you're going to take a rip.
Here is Murr to serve. Right back. And rolled into the donut. Finds the campfire.
Harper Murray disguised that shot so well. She looked like she was going to take a big rip at it. At the last possible second, lets that elbow drop just a little, rolls it in.
Bergen Riley now back to serve. Schaffmaster behind her, Lydia again, and Grote with another kill.
Grote has turned into a massive piece of this Minnesota offense. She's done an incredible job going up, especially in these big matches when they need her to show up. She showed up big.
Now back to serve goes Grote. Hitting .406 in her last 3 matches. Overpass. A great job by Bergen Riley, and then sliding under the net goes Rodriguez, so point for Minnesota.
Really smart play. You mentioned it up front. Bergen Riley going up, knowing she can't take this ball over, but puts a soft block up, angling it behind, so it stays on Nebraska's side.
Minnesota back to within 1, 21-20. Nebraska with the lead here. 21-20. Nebraska takes the timeout as the Gophers have pulled to 21-20 here in set 1. Crowd on their feet as they come out of the break. Gophers.
Minnesota starting off really strong offensively, hitting .345 against a team in Nebraska that limits its opponents to 100.
Out hitting Nebraska currently are the Gophers. Lydia Grote back to serve. Choboy saves it. Beeson inside, the big block. Alulia was there.
Huge read for Melanie Schaffmaster up front, identifying that set was way inside, took a big step to her left, and now Alea is able to close it up. Watch how far those hands get over to shut it down.
Great run here by the Gophers to knot it at 21. Beeson. Murr bump set out to Schaffmaster into the block. Murr will take second touch again. Here's Wooker. That's off the hands and point for the Gophers.
In the red zone, it's so important to continue to take those high, hard swings. Late in sets, you want to go out swinging. You can't start tipping. Beautiful shot from McKenna Wooker up front.
4-0 Gopher run, and John Cook will take his second timeout, down 22-21 here in the first. Minnesota hitting a torrid 3:55 in this first set.
Oak trees are not doing very
Competitive Big Ten Conference schedule. And we've already seen a battle of top teams in the country in Ohio State and Nebraska. Now we're going to look at another one here with the Gophers leading late in set one. Nebraska has not dropped an opening set this year. And a serve long from Grote.
All tied up at 22, Larry, after that 4-0 Minnesota run.
Well, and as you know, Emily, in the Big Ten Conference, this is what separates the great teams from the teams who are good. It's the ability to perform late in tight situations and make the plays. And who stresses who the most? Schaffmaster on the second touch, then another one sends it back over. Bump set out to Batenhorst, very tight to the antenna. Oh, good quick run, but solo blocked by Beeson. Wow, on Wooker.
With how fast tempo that set was, Merritt Beeson came flying in there, knowing her middle was going to be late. She dove her hands back inside for the stuff.
Boy, the pace of that push to the pin was remarkable, and for Beeson to get there in time. Tough serve. Right back to Wooker again. Tip try not down. Riley, back row. And there's the freshman, Harper Murray. Nebraska on a 3-0 run, and we'll try to close it out here at 24-22. Set point in the first. Service error. That's what you want to avoid.
Definitely, when you have set point, now you have the option again, but putting a serve in is really key.
Set point number two, an opportunity here for the Gophers to push it to extra points. A tough serve, bump set, Batenhorst. Great dig by Murr, will send it back over. They'll push it back up to Batenhorst again, he rolls it and got it. Blocks per set, including Becca Alec, who is number 2 individual in the country. Bergen Riley, the freshman setter for Nebraska out of Sioux Falls O'Gorman High School. Top-ranked setter in last year's class. Good pass by Murr. They run the middle. And a kill again by the freshman. That's Harper Murray.
Harper Murray finding ways to score on Nebraska's side. This ball left inside. She's able to get inside of it, on top of it to put it down.
Important here for the Golden Gophers to respond in set number 2. They had the lead late in the first. Good pace out there, but again, Merritt Beeson is reacting to that quick set out to the pin, and it's been there both times Wooker has tried to take advantage.
Minnesota runs one of the quickest pin offenses in the country, but what Nebraska's doing well is identifying that their middle might not get there, so they reach their hands inside. It's resulting in a lot of stuffs.
They go at Landfair again. This time, good pass by Taylor. Harper Murray into the antenna and wide point for the Gophers.
Lydia Grote setting up that block so well. One of the only shots that Harper Murray had was into the antenna. Not many shots open when you have a ball out to the pin and the block out to the pin as well.
Served by Grote is long. First year on campus for Lydia Grote out of Burbank, California. She played previously in the Pac-12 for Cal, transferred in, but her sister Marin played for Coach Keegan Cook at Washington. So it makes sense that relationship would have been there. And when Lydia Grote was looking for a place to land, it made sense to look up Keegan Cook. Back row attack by Hanson, got it. They use her primarily in the back row and not afraid to attack out of the back row. One of the highest verticals on the team for Minnesota.
Such a smart decision for Coach Keegan Cook to use her in the back row as a DS, but not only provide that defensive stability, but have her as that option offensively as well.
35-inch vertical.
That's insane.
Julie Hanson, right? I mean, wow. Played for the Northern Lights Club out of Savage, Minnesota, Prior Lake High School. You look at the talent that has come through Minneapolis over the course of the last 8 years. 6 of the last 8 Conference Players of the Year have been Gophers. There's one of them, Taylor Landfair, the reigning Big Ten Player of the Year with the kill.
What Hugh McCutcheon did to build up this Minnesota program, the coach who preceded Keegan Cook, is outstanding. You know, that many Big Ten Player of the Year honors, consistently going deep into the tournament, making the tournament. And Coach Keegan Cook said, you know, he feels the pressure coming into a program, just as Minnesota gets that point. He feels the pressure coming into this program, but he also is not trying to change anything, redo it. He just wants to build on what Hugh McCutcheon set and try to advance this program even further.
McGee with that last ace. And there is Andy Jackson, just enough power to go off the top of the block and out.
Bergen Riley getting Andy Jackson going, this time in the gap, trying to split the blockers on Minnesota's side, but they dove in pretty well to get a touch on it.
Jackson came in, we talked about hitting .530 on the season. She had that early error, but since then is 4 kills on 6 swings. Back out, Fair left hands it over, a little swipe off the block. Tries it again, that time with the angle, Landfair with the kill.
Landfair showing her range up front, tries to take some of them down the line. That time, even off the net, is able to hit a sharp cut shot, turning her thumb down.
So now Schaffmaster back to serve. Scary moment in that Iowa match when Schaffmaster went down, stepped on the opponent's foot across the net, kind of dinged up that knee again. She's been battling with that knee injury since high school. You see the big brace on it for Schaffmaster. There's another hitting error there on Nebraska.
And Melanie Schaffmaster is such a focal point to this team. She's been a leader for them year after year. And as a senior setter, she's developed into a great leader. And of course, running that offense, I mean, she does it better than anyone.
Swiping it off the block and the kill by Batenhorst.
Batenhorst has recently added this shot into her arsenal, the power tip, able to go right off the block, push it off. Watch the power that she uses right off of 9 in maroon, just throwing it at her.
Lainey Choboy now to serve. Choboy originally committed to Minnesota. 4 touches, point for Nebraska. What a terrific addition Choboy has been to this Nebraska defense.
And not just the numbers that she puts up, but the energy that she brings out on the court. And in the 3 rotations that she's back there, the team looks a little bit more amped up.
Coach said that, Coach John Cook said that Lainey Choboy is worth 3 points whether she's on the floor or not. Brings that kind of energy to this team. And there is Landfair into the antenna. Nebraska up by 3.
And that's exactly what you want from some of your defensive specialists or liberos back there. Yeah, they might not be able to score points necessarily other than from the service line, so you have to contribute in other ways. A lot of times that's with your energy.
Back row, Wooker just long. Boy, nice tandem run, just a little long.
Yeah, great decision, but bad execution on Minnesota's side, trying to get that back row attack going. Good decision from Chaff.
With UW before taking over for Hugh McCutcheon. Boy, did he schedule, and maybe it was scheduled for him, but that early season schedule they had was difficult. Beeson back row. Wow, Merritt Beeson out of system.
As Minnesota tries to find some rhythm with their back row attack, Nebraska has found theirs. Merritt Beeson continually an option back there. So important for this squad to have that option when you only are in 2-hitter rows.
This is one of the things Keegan Cook was talking about. He said, you know, when it starts to go sideways for us, we don't always stop the runs. And Creighton, in that match against Creighton, they went on a 12-0 run against Minnesota. This right now is a 5-0 Nebraska run. Murray.
McKenna Wooker a little bit slow to get up on Minnesota's side. Nebraska starting to run away with things now up 6 here in set 2. Minnesota has to find a way to get out of this rotation as soon as possible.
Choboy to serve. Wooker handles it well. Big swing by Grote, not down. To Murray, little roll shot. She got it. Just a pace, and so smart with her shots for such a young player.
Nebraska's exploiting the middle of the court on Minnesota's side. Normally, Kylie Murr picks these balls up. They're disguising it so well and placing it perfectly about 5-6 feet in front of Murr.
Again, that swing is wide, the hitting error, and now Nebraska on a 7-0 run, and Keegan Cook is going to challenge to say there was a touch.
Minnesota is challenging that there was a
Impressive from Laney Choboy on the back line to continually put in really tough serves, knocking Minnesota out of system.
So the 7-0 run could be 8-0 if this stands. Let's take another look.
Ball definitely close to touching Bergen Riley. Tough to tell though whether any fingers have been bent back or not.
Our R1, Brett Myers, looking into the monitor. Of course, they have an entire in-house DV Sports system where they can review. Take one more look as we blow it up here and see if we can see a finger. Looks to be well above the hands.
Yeah, that ball looking like it's just over the hands. Doesn't look like there's any touches, at least from what I can tell. So far, just looking at some of the stats from this set, I mean, Minnesota, after the offense was really clicking during set 1, hitting 286, now hitting negative 125. Can't find any rhythm. And that ball is confirmed, no touch. You wonder whether Minnesota could have used that as a pause in play, a little timeout situation. They do have one left in the set, but just to get out of this rotation as quickly as possible.
So at one point it was 6-6, now 14-6. Gophers here in this set, as you said, struggling on the hitting percentage. There they go. Nice tip there. Good decision by Grote.
That kill happened because of a perfect pass. Kylie Murr gets Melanie Schaffmaster on the move. She's able to quick tempo set outside to Lydia Grote. Good put down.
So Taylor Landfair now back to serve. She leads the team with 18 service aces on the season. Boy, that ball really moves. Another kill, Harper Murray.
Harper Murray exploding for Nebraska. Bergen Riley getting her going with a little bit of tempo. I feel like Nebraska has all that momentum right now.
Murray 8 kills already, 15 swings, hitting .333. Nebraska hitting .500 here in set 2 to the Gophers' negative .059. Schaffmaster, good push, nice tempo. And the overpass, and Grote is there to put it down. Good point for the Gophers.
That's one of those momentum plays that Minnesota needs. On that overpass, Lydia Grote locked and loaded, ready to go up. Big put down.
Second touch is too long.
Smart decision from Bergen Riley to push that back to the corner. You have Melanie Schaffmaster running from the other side to make a play on it. Taylor Landfair watching what's unfolding, but that corner shot might have landed if it was in.
Yeah. On the slide, Alec off the block, Murray's there. Schaffmaster runs the middle, little punch. Rooker shut down. Becca Alec with the block.
Alec reading this play and watching it unfold so well, not moving until she knows where the ball is going, and she explodes up along with Bergen Riley to get that one.
They both might have got a hand on that, both Riley and Alec.
It's so tough to tell because of how good the block's set up. You have the hand on the other hand, exactly what you want, closing it up every time.
Wooker again. Got a touch, kill.
Kill by number 3,
McKenna Wooker.
Point.
Wooker starting to attack the edges of the block on the outside rather than right down into it, just trying to hit fingertips, and just a little touch will do it.
She has such a live arm. 21 kills in that win over Oregon. Her best performance of the season. Swing is long from Alec. Boy, Nebraska had what they wanted there. Good pass, quick middle, and Alec just long.
Alec just a little bit, the set was too low for her, that ball trajectory just a little bit off, forcing it to go out of bounds.
Another good pass. Back row, Grote. Rodriguez steps in to take the second touch, and a big block. Alea with a big hand over the net on the block.
How Alea shutting stuff down up front. McKenna Wooker set up this so well, but check out how far Alea gets over the net. No one's getting through that.
Back to within 4. Huskers will take the timeout. Now 16.
Expects to get a touch or expects to get a stuff every time she's going up on a block.
So off of Nebraska's timeout. Gophers on a bit of a run here, back to within 4. And another point for the Gophers, another block. Beeson.
Another one for Awalea up front, reading the play well, making explosive moves to her pin hitter to go up and shut it down.
Just a strong block up front right now for the Gophers. Nebraska's seemingly been in system each of these last 4 points, and the Gophers just had a strong block up there.
Great reads from Minnesota on their side.
And again, that time Awalea.
Awalea cannot be stopped up front, even in a one-on-one situation, taking away the shot that she knows Becca Alec wants to hit.
Already 5 blocks for Awalea. System again. That time off the top of the block, targeted the high hands there. And Murray got the kill.
Smarter decision for Nebraska, whichever hitter was going up, not to hit it straight down into the block because they're going on a roll right now up front on Minnesota's side. Attack the edges, try to make them work a little bit more.
Great diving up by Rodriguez. Beeson off the block. And another kill for Merritt Beeson. That is 5.
Nebraska doing really well in transition defense. Lexi Rodriguez making these plays look easy, diving from anywhere. Bergen Riley setting with the flow of the play, just putting up an easy ball for Merritt Beeson to put down.
Off the tape. Hansen goes line. Go Hansen, the tip again, point Nebraska. Back row attack called.
Julia Hansen getting a toe on that line. If you're a back row attacker, you can't put any foot on the back line, otherwise you'll be called.
19-14, Nebraska on top by 5 here in the second. We'll be back for the conclusion of set.
Excited for Purdue to play Nebraska, only to see those freshmen go at it up front.
They played together, right, on the national team?
Mm-hmm. You know each other well.
Tip try by Hansen, not down. Batenhorst goes off the block and out of bounds. 2014, Nebraska back on top by 6.
Batenhorst 6 for 10 right now. Still no errors in this match. An impressive turnaround from what she did on Friday against Ohio State, hitting under 100.
Good pace out to Wooker, and boy, she just hits it so hard. That one wide. It's just so tough to defend from that left pin.
Yeah, McKenna Wooker's got one of the quickest arm swings in the Big Ten. From the time that she jumps to the time that ball is down, it is lightning quick.
Push it out to her again. That time pushes it off the block and down. Smart shot by Wooker.
Minnesota getting the better of the block, noticing that Becca Alec a bit too far off the net. There's space between her and the net. She can put it right in the hands to come down. And this top spin serve could be big right now for Minnesota to try to claw back.
Smart shots. That's 7 kills for Batenhorst on 11 swings.
Huge for Nebraska to get out of that rotation as soon as possible. McKenna Wooker put in a bullet back there. Handled well from Nebraska's serve receive. Allie Batenhorst seeing the other side of the court so well in terms of what the defense is doing.
Serve long. Here in the current set, Nebraska hitting 182. Gophers at negative 034. In the middle. Great up. Key back there to keep that alive. Swing is long for Beeson.
Pretty big block up in front of her with Taylor Landfair. And she's low and over. Beeson knows she has to swing a little bit higher. That time swinging out.
Checking into the game for the Golden Gophers, number 4, Lauren Crowell.
Into the game for the first time, Lauren Crowell at the opposite for the Gophers. Beeson off the block, kept alive by Rodriguez. Right back to Beeson again. Back line. Well, they're going to say no, point for Minnesota. They're going to say long. John Cook is grabbing the card right away and is going to challenge. Certainly looked in.
Definitely looked pretty in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This will be over.
Challenging in or out. The first look we saw, pretty in. From this look, still pretty in.
And we already have a decision from our R1. And the call is, it is in, point Nebraska.
That's a huge point for Nebraska to get back.
Yeah.
Thinking back to what we saw in set one, Minnesota came back late in that set after being down a few points. They went up late in the set. Nebraska was able to come back. So don't count out the Gophers.
Been one of Nebraska's better rotations with Beeson back at the service line, 2 away from going up 2-0. Bump set attempt, a little bit wide of the pin.
Yeah, just a little bit wide. But Nebraska has that cushion right now. They're up 5 still. You can make those errors. You don't want to see them again. But at this point, Nebraska's okay with hitting 1 or 2 out.
More touches.
Minnesota now with Melanie Schaffmaster back row. They have 3 hitters up front and McKenna Wooker in the back. One of their better rotations.
Huskers will take a timeout. So both teams now have exhausted their timeouts as the Gophers are back on the floor for a matchup with Michigan. There is no plus like home. Download Big Ten Plus and for Michigan in the conference. Dropped 2 straight. Leah Johnson's team with the sweep over Michigan State, Michigan. Minnesota has rattled off 4 of the last 5 points. Second touch, and Riley has it down.
Something about getting late in sets. Setters love to get a little shoddy. Smart decision, no blocker in front of her. Can go right inside.
Set point of the second. Falling like bowling pins over there on the Huskers side of the
Like
net.
1 down, 2 down, 3 down. Are they all going to go down? So much chaos happening on their side. Erica
1, 2,
Davis
3,
doesn't
4.
care. She's going to put it right back down.
Set point number 2. Down. Great reaction to the back row. Right on the back line. What a shot by Harper Murray on set point. And that is now 11. Soon to be available on eBay, by the way. A good one-handed up by Schaffmaster. Grote with the swing. Just wide by Grote.
Something to note for Nebraska, they've only lost 3 sets all season, but those 3 sets have all come in the 3rd set of a match. When they've already been up 2-0, those teams, Creighton, Stanford, Kentucky, push them to take the 3rd. Look out for Minnesota. This is a team that isn't going to die being down 2-0.
Point, Minnesota. Back serving for the Golden Gophers, number 9, Lydia Grote.
Last time Minnesota had a big run, it was Lydia Grote back at the service line. She's there again. The top of the block of Schaffmaster. Pushes out to Wooker. On the line, off the block by Murray.
Another block from Nebraska's way. That one left a little bit high. Minnesota could have played it, just misjudged the in and out call.
Checking in for your Husker, number 14, Ali Batenhorst. Back
Harper Murray back to serve. Batenhorst back in the front row for the Huskers. Good pass. Schaffmaster Alvalea on the slide, knocked down. They run Alec right back at him, and Alec delivers.
Becca Alec, such an impressive shot. Everything she's showing is going cross court. Last second, she turns her shoulders to the left, hits that back to zone 1.
Dancing out of the back row. Pushing out to Wooker again, and that time just powers right through the block and the kill by McKenna Wooker.
Beautiful transition play for the Gophers. Julia Hansen takes this ball back from zone 1, leads Melanie Schaffmaster, so she's able to get McKenna Wooker going with tempo, resulting in a seam in the block for her to hit right through.
Wooker now back with that jump serve. Right along the tape, and Allie Batenhorst gets the friendly roll, and that is now 8 kills, 13 swings. Batenhorst hitting .615.
How about that out of system ball from Merritt Beeson in the perfect spot? It's the little things that makes this Nebraska team elite, whether it's out of system transition. They're doing such a great job.
Good short serve. Bergen pushes it back to Beeson. Joust at the net, won by the Gophers.
Schaffmaster putting a little bit of extra power into that one, making sure she's the second person to go up. You have a little bit more momentum going down that way. Watch this strength over her shoulder against 2 blockers.
Into the game in the middle for the Gophers now is Erica Davis, the 6-foot junior out of Hillsborough, North Carolina. In the middle, Beeson swipes at her. Check that in. Andy Jackson, the lift called on Nebraska.
Yeah, that ball in Jackson's hands just a little bit too long. Watch her, she kind of grabs it and throws it rather than just using her fingertips. Sometimes the crowd gets mad about those, but that one is pretty clear.
Sat in there a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Good serve by McGee. Beeson with the kill off of the hands of Landfair.
Good shot from Beeson up front, identifying the blockers too high, not far over enough. Taylor Landfair in a good spot, the hands just not pressed over.
Beeson back at the service line. She's been targeting Landfair most of the match. We'll see if she goes there again, and does. But Wooker takes. Angle, Allie Batenhorst. A great save. Terrific job by Schaffmaster to keep that alive. Batenhorst the tip that time. And second time the charm for Allie Batenhorst. 9 kills for Batenhorst.
9 kills on 15 swings. Batenhorst doing so much up front. Also getting her shots in different places. She's thrown in a lot of tips that have scored. She's also ripped a few.
Batenhorst's best performance on the year was 12 kills at Kentucky, or when Kentucky came here, not on the road, but against Kentucky. Hit .281 on that one. She had 3 errors to go with those 12 kills. Right now, errorless with 9 kills, hitting .600. A little scramble for both teams. Trying to get in system here. Gophers have the opportunity. Little swipe by Landfair, back row roll shot. Harper Murray.
Defense turning into points for Nebraska. Merritt Beeson just dig after dig, allowing these transition plays to happen. Harper Murray seeing the defense on the other side. Massive hole in the donut for her to hit. Just disguises that roll shot so well. She's done it a few times tonight.
down the line, and a good swing there by Hansen outside the block. That slows Nebraska's 3-0 run.
Perfect shot by Hansen in the back row. So much line for her to hit. Just puts it right in the corner.
Schaffmaster's serve is wide.
This is the rotation that Minnesota really struggled with last set, rotation 1, with Laney Choboy on the service line.
Another kill for Grote.
Gophers get out of that one right away. So important with how tough Laney Choboy's serve is. This will put Taylor Landfair back on the service line. 4 hitters on Minnesota's side to worry about. Good swing by Grote to put this away, just going for the edges of the block.
Murray long, no touch, Gophers point. Back to within 1.
Trading points here in this 3rd set. For Minnesota, backs up against the wall. This is a must-win set for them to stay in this match. They'll take any air they can get from Nebraska's side.
Back out again, that time Harper back-to-back swings. She's long.
Bergen Riley likes to go back to the player that just made an error, to give them a little bit more confidence on that next swing. Now might be a time to maybe go away from her. Let her reset on her own.
Back row, Beeson with the tip. Diving up by Schaffmaster. Bump set out to Grote. And another kill by Lydia Grote. She now has 6.
Great step close up front from Lydia Grote. This ball left way inside. Blockers weren't there, so she could get her feet there quickly. This is what's happened. It'll result in a play like this, where the blocker's way too far out, so much open cross court.
Gophers on a bit of a run, 4-0 on the serve of Landfair. And the block as Grote again. And timeout taken by Nebraska. Landfair has kept the Huskers knocking off Ohio State on Friday. The football team winning yesterday. And the Huskers looking for a sweep against a top 12 opponent in Minnesota. And out of the timeout, they run the slide, and Jackson delivers.
Huge answer right out of the timeout for Nebraska. Nailing the pass, allowing the middle to get going. Annie Jackson did her job and put it away.
Kennedy Orr into serve. Tough pass. Schaffmaster chases it down. The tip right into the block. And Becca Alec picks up her 3rd block of the match.
Bergen Riley, the pair of them have done a fantastic job closing it up on the outsides, making it really difficult for McKenna Wooker and Taylor Landfair to put a ball down.
Wooker off the side of the block of Riley. And a kill by McKenna Wooker. Leads the way with 9 kills.
Impressive shot up front, identifying exactly where the blocker's hands were and going right off the fingertips.
So now the all-time digs leader at Ohio State back to serve for the Golden Gophers. How strange does that seem to say? Joust at the net, and oh my. Bergen Riley with a joust against Avulea and wins it.
Bergen Riley showing her strength up front against one of the best blockers in the Big Ten. Going up there, being a welcome and over her shoulder.
good quick decision by Alec.
You have to be ready for those overpasses at all times up front. You have to expect them, be down in a ready position to explode up and take that ball over.
Good swing by Grote. Good dig by Choboy. Bump set over there. Set over the head by Rodriguez. Not a bump set. Ooh, what a dive by Choboy. Not afraid to just lay out for everything is Lady Choboy.
I mean, that's one of those plays where you don't expect anyone to get, but then you see her running after it as fast as she is. You kind of hold your breath for a second thinking she actually might get there. I don't know if there's anyone in the country that's going to get there. She just makes you think twice about it. Just explosive in the back row.
A little behind Beeson on the set. Wooker tools the hands again of Murray. Good decision by Wooker.
Wooker having a lot of success up front, tooling the block in front of her. Out of system, it's a bump set. Everyone knows she's getting this ball. The block is well formed. She just places it perfectly right off the fingertips.
8th match of the season in which Wooker is in double-digit kills. And Gophers back on top. Just long on the serve by Grote.
Checking in again for Minnesota, number 22, Julia Hinson. Checking in for your Huskers, number 14, Allie Payton-Horse. Back serving, number 27, Harper Murray.
Watch for Melanie Schaffmaster now in the front row to get a little offensive. Hasn't put up too many attempts tonight in terms of dumps.
Tough serve. Free ball opportunity here for the Huskers. Riley will push it out to Payton-Horst, who swipes right into the arms of Murr. And then it goes off of Rodriguez and Wooker with a kill.
Kylie Murr made that play look so easy. She picked it up, barely had to run to do it. She's just reading the play, watching it unfold in a perfect spot to make it. Looked like she was sitting right there, but man, it takes a lot to read that play and see it and get your body there.
Here's that tough jump serve of Wooker. Beeson. Boy, what an adjustment by Beeson to the set. She was pulled inside and still got a good swing.
Impressive footwork from there, Beeson. Identifying that set's inside. She speeds up her approach so she can still explode and go up to hit that cross court.
14's here in the third. I love what Keegan Cook said earlier this week. He said, who we are is not conditional. In other words, it doesn't matter what the situation is, who we are should not change. And I think that's one of the things he's really trying to push with this Gopher team that's talented, but still trying to figure out all the roles and pieces and parts. Point for Minnesota. Nebraska turned to the bench immediately and said touch. John Cook goes to the challenge card. So they will challenge the touch.
Nebraska is challenging that there
It was right in front of our up official, our Brett Myers. You see it? Yeah.
So a question of whether this ball touched Taylor Landfair, 12 in maroon, looking like that outside hand potentially. Does that ball change direction?
Potentially hits that outside finger.
Yeah, maybe looking like that ring finger of Landfair up front. Potentially bending back.
Yep.
Has to be conclusive evidence.
I mentioned earlier, Stephen Shepard, our R2, looking into the monitor. I might have said Brett Myers, who's our up official, our R1. Stephen Shepard looks it over.
Larry, to your point on Coach Cook talking about the response from his team and not being conditional on how things are going, this is the perfect opportunity for Minnesota to come back. He said he liked what he saw in that 5th set against Iowa, really dominating that set completely. He wants to see the same thing from here on out. If this team is getting punched, can they respond to it? They might be down 0-2. This team is going to continue to fight.
You know, he seems to be, so it was confirmed no touch point for the Gophers. Very introspective as well. He talked about inconsistency, and one of the things he mentioned is the team's inconsistency a reflection of his leadership? And he was really looking deep at how everything had gone to this point in the season to try to get this team to be more cohesive and less vulnerable to runs. Serve error, and it's long.
Part of that consistency factor comes with taking over a new program. You can't expect to be completely consistent right away. Even with the talent that you do have, it takes a little bit for everyone to get used to each other.
9th service error of the match for the Gophers to 5 for Nebraska. And serve is long by Beeson.
Point, Minnesota. Checking in for the Gophers, number 9, Lydia Gross. Back serving number 5.
Nebraska struggling to keep the ball in the court this set.
Yeah.
6 errors on attack, a few from the service line. This is when you have to play clean late in sets.
A system again, bump set out to Batenhorst, and Batenhorst long as well. That's 3 consecutive serve or hitting errors on the Huskers. Easy points here for the Gophers.
Against these top teams, Nebraska has struggled to put them out after being up 2-0. Even against Ohio State on Friday, that's when we saw Ohio State come back, was in the 3rd.
Stanford took the 3rd against Nebraska. Creighton took the 3rd against the Huskers. Batenhorst a little tight. Murray pulled back inside Beeson. Oh my, what a shot by Merritt Beeson.
Just a little touch will do it. Merritt Beeson, she doesn't have to unload on the ball. Exploiting that middle of the court, it's worked a few times tonight. She's not in the best position to make this play. She can still score, even in tough situations.
Boom, what a swing. Killed by Erica Davis on the quick.
Davis trying to put a hole in the floor. Perfect connection with Melanie Schaffmaster. Such a quick ball on the gap, splitting the blockers. It's coming out so fast, you don't have time to get there. And Erica Davis makes him pay. Check out how fast this set is. I mean, coming out of Schaffmaster's hands so quick.
Landfair with the service error. Kennedy Orr now into serve for Nebraska. Gophers up by 1 in set 3, trailing 2-0. First 2 went 23 and 20 in favor of the Huskers. Nebraska just returning the favor.
Momentum is so important late in sets. It can really earn you that set win. For Minnesota, they have to try to quiet Nebraska as soon as possible, playing in a gym with 8,500 people. For Nebraska, they need to limit their errors right now to try to find some consistency to build momentum.
There's Harper Murray. 13 kills for Murray.
Late in sets, Harper Murray becomes a go-to attacker for Nebraska. They know she's going to take big swing after big swing. Bergen Riley trusts her to do that even late in sets, even out of system.
Worker into the block. Murr bump sets it. Good pace there by Grote. Took a little bit off it and kind of fooled Riley.
Grote has been hammering that cross-court shot. She has the ability to go line if it's pushed there, but she loves ripping it across.
So for the first time tonight, Minnesota the first to 20 in a set. On top 20-18 here in the 3rd. Out of system again. Beeson pulled inside, but got the touch. Smart swing by Merritt Beeson.
Fantastic footwork from Beeson. This ball way inside. Lexi Rodriguez putting it about 10 feet inside the court, but the step close from Merritt Beeson to attack that ball. Very impressive. Watch her adjustment on her approach, really speeding it up and exploding up.
Good pass. Upset out to Beeson. Beat the block. Right over the top of it. Inside the end line for the kill.
Merritt Beeson lighting things up for Nebraska. This ball left outside. She knows that seam is open. 5-6 right between Murr and Landfair. Puts it right in between the defenders.
Murray with the ace, and Nebraska now on a 3-0 run, 21-20, and Keegan Cook wants a timeout. So Keegan Cook with one remaining. Nebraska in the middle of a 3-0 run on top, 21-20. Pass there by Murr. Wooker not down. Beeson was long, went right at Landfair, just couldn't get out of the way. Riley will go behind. The Beeson tip, not down. Bump set, out the bait horse into the block. And it's down, all even at 21.
Big read for Melanie Schaffmaster. All plays happening on their left side of the court, but Nebraska sends it out to their left side. Melanie Schaffmaster got there in time to get the stuff.
Two big options up front here for the Gophers. Awulea's up front, along with Schaffmaster. And the overpass, Awulea. Second time she won't be so gentle. Goes back over. Landfair tries to go off the block and does not hit the block, and it goes wide.
Disciplined block from Merritt Beeson up front. She saw Taylor Landfair was going up for the tip, so she reached over even more, stayed disciplined, low and over, so Landfair couldn't use her.
Boy, that is a point to look back at. A couple of opportunities. Awulea right at the net, an opportunity to close it out. Mistimed on the slide. And he took over after big horse angle. Good up by Murr. Overpass. Jackson right down the middle on the quick from Riley. What a set.
Bergen Riley, so impressive. Just a freshman, but she does not look like it. Getting Andy Jackson going. This crowd's pumped up.
Boy, the communication and the connection on that last one, so critical. Riley leaves it right for the freshman Jackson. Nebraska 2 away from the sweep. Huskers 2 away here in set number 3 on a 3-0 run. Let's take a look at that last play.
So impressive. This ball picked up by Lexi Rodriguez. Bergen Riley's pushed in front. Andy Jackson is able to call an audible out of it. Normally they want her running in front, but with Bergen Riley so far in, Andy Jackson has to call an audible and a quick one behind.
(23-21). Good swing by Landfair.
Big side out from Minnesota. Nailing the pass. Landfair is able to go with some tempo off of the set from Schaffmaster, leaving a massive hole in the block. Taylor Landfair just follows that arm right through it.
One of the top swings we've seen from Landfair tonight. And she now has 7 kills, back to within 1. Shank pass. Joust at the net. Won by Beeson. Wow, what hustle.
How about the hustle to bring this ball back in? This ball shank pass, chases it down, runs into the scores table. Merritt Beeson puts it over.
Puts Nebraska at match point, 24-22. Riley on the slide. Jackson closes it out.
Nebraska just suffocating Minnesota.
ये रानी हमारी अखिया से, ये रानी हमारी अखिया से आंसुआ गिरे छे दिलवा रोए के जान। ये रानी हमारी अखिया से आंसुआ गिरे छे दिलवा रोए के जान।
गंगाजल रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो महादेवगंज साहेबगंज।
तोरा जीना हम जीना ही पाइबो, तू जहाँ चल गेली और हमू आइबो। तोरा बिना हम जीना ही पाइबो, तू जहाँ चल गेली और हमू आइबो। ये रानी तोरा याद में आंसुआ बहे छे दिलवा रोए जान। ये रानी तोरा याद में आंसुआ बहे छे दिलवा रोए जान।
गंगाजल रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो महादेवगंज साहेबगंज।
के करा सहारे रहबै, के करा से दू बोलिया बोलबै। अशोक अकेला के कहलू कि साथ न छोड़बै। के करा सहारे रहबै, के करा से दू बोलिया बोलबै। अशोक अकेला के कहलू कि साथ न छोड़ब। के रानी सोमी लागे आंसुआ गिरैले देहिया काप के लगे जा। के रानी हमर अखिया से